All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Geez Louise, it's been a crazy, volatile week for mortgage interest rates. Let me give you a quick recap. Last Wednesday, the Fed went ahead and did their 25 basis point Fed rate hike. We all knew it was coming. We weren't surprised. Actually, some of Jerome Powell's comments had a positive impact on mortgage rates. And I'll keep it simple. I won't go into minutia, but mortgage interest rates got better. And so we had a good day last Wednesday, February 1st. Mortgage rates, when we looked at the average 30-year on Mortgage News Daily last Thursday, was 5.99. We went under 6%. Hooray for mortgage rates. Hooray for affordability. Hooray for all the buyers in the market. Then Friday came and all hell broke loose, to be completely honest. A jobs report, which was estimated to come in at 188,000 new jobs created. Guess what the number ended up being? And I'm guessing, but I think I'm pretty close because I've heard it and I've talked to people and I've had enough conversations around it. I think the number was 517,000. It didn't come in a little high at 220, at 250. It came in at 517,000. That had a really negative impact on mortgage rates. And I'll attempt to explain it in a simple way, like why good economic data and good news for unemployment would have a negative impact on mortgage rates. Basically, like what it signals to Jerome Powell is like, hey, listen, you can continue to raise interest rates if you need that as a tool to combat inflation because we've still got strong economic data. Look at all these new job creations. Things are going good, right? And so that like jobs report that was phenomenal, at least whatever the fucking metric they used to have that crazy, and that's a whole nother story, right? Really smart people, smarter than me, will go into detail on why like they change the way they measure this stuff sometimes. And so this 517 might be, a metric that the Fed is looking at when you explain it to them like, hey, listen, like this might be a lot of part-time jobs. This might be a lot of this, might be a lot of that. It doesn't matter. 517, strong jobs report. Shoot, we can keep the throttle on. We can keep raising interest rates. It's not going to have an effect on the economy. I don't know if that's how they talk in the Fed meetings. That's just what is in my head for how they talk at these Fed meetings, how they come up with these things. Is that Texas? Is that accent? Where the heck did that come from? I just freestyle, man, and I don't know what's going to come out of this mouth. But strong economic data, bad for mortgage rates. If the economy is suffering and doing bad, the Fed does things that are accommodative to rates, and it helps interest rates and push rates down. So if you don't want to remember any of the fancy jargon or any of the other details of it, just remember good economic news, bad for mortgage rates. Bad economic news, good for mortgage rates. That generally holds true, right? So this strong labor market, or at least the metric of 517,000 job creations, sent a message to the Fed that go ahead, raise rates, do whatever you want, stay aggressive. You can do that to fight inflation. It's not going to have any damage on the economy. Now, we'll wait and see if that number is true, if the labor market's really as strong as that data suggests. But and I know, and I think like most people know, like stats can lie. Stats can be inaccurate. And it really all depends on what you use to measure them. I could come up with some crazy wild stats. You guys would be like, oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I put this variable in, I took that one out. And 94.6% of the time, people use Matt the Mortgage Guy when they're buying a house in California, right? So anyhow, with all that being said, dipped under and saw 5.99 as a nationwide average on Thursday. Friday, this data comes out 6.19. And now today, this is crazy that like things can happen this fast in the mortgage market. Mortgage rates jumped to highest levels in a month, 6.39. You know what I should do? I should share my screen because then you can see like mortgage rates generally don't like change a ton, especially like day in and day out. But check out this little uptick. Share screen. That one. This is Mortgage News Daily. I like them because they're not trying to get you to fill out a lead form and 75 lenders call you offering you stuff they can't really deliver on. But basically, this is like, nationwide average for excellent credit. And, you can, I think they used to have it to where like this was like a half of a point in cost baked into it. I don't know where it's at now, but whatever the case, just gives you a good sense of where mortgage rates are at. Down here, it shows you the daily, right? 5.99, 6.19, 6.39. So highest in a month because of this 1 day or 2 day, Friday, Monday, but bam, popped up to 6.39. You got to go all the way back to like this is, I guess 6.5 on January 5th. But man, we were looking good. We ticked under 6% for the first time since September. It was looking good for affordability. We don't even want to talk about October. We're up here in the mid 7s. And again, like I talk about in my, conversations with industry folks is like nobody was writing loans at 7.5. People were buying it down to 6.75 or 6.5, but it cost money to do so. Now, if you've got a 6.39, you might write a lot of loans at 5.99 that cost a half a point, write them at 5.75 that cost a point, whatever the case may be. But, for my buyer's sake, for affordability's sake, for all those things, I'm rooting for rates to slowly come down. I know that between 5 and 5.5%, there's going to be a lot of people who are first-time home buyers and right on that cusp of affordability where, $2,600 a month payment versus a $3,000 a month payment is the difference between buying and continuing to rent. And those who say, I want to buy, Matt, I know that my net worth is going to be 40x that of a renter if I buy, but I just can't stretch myself to a $3,000 a month payment. I'm renting for $2,400. I can jump up to 26 because I know that I'm going to, have stuff that's going to benefit me on my taxes. I know that over time it's going to appreciate. I know that I'm going to be paying the mortgage down. So I can go from 24 to 26, knowing that my rent's going to be 2,800 3 years from now, but 2,400 to 3,000 is going to stretch me too much. I 100% get it. And with those people, all I can do is cross my fingers and say, let's try to get to 5.5 or 5.25 to where it makes sense and it's comfortable for you to buy. So anyhow, that's the short report on mortgage interest rates. Fire away, unlimited amount of questions. I am going to rapid fire as many as I can. I'm going to go for 35, 40 minutes today. I just wanted to start with that because mortgage interest rates are something that first-time home buyers, anytime home buyers are concerned about. They're watching. It's going to affect buying power. When rates trickle down to 6%, demand comes into the market. I've seen it in my personal business between October and January. Like I track weekly leads and they're up a ton. When rates come down a little bit, part of that you might contribute to seasonal, but it's really more than that. It's a matter of like how many willing and able buyers are there at 6.5, at 6, at 5.5. There's a lot more down here at 5.5, I promise you. So this is something that I'm going to watch closely. I think other people that are in the market are going to watch closely as well. And it's going to have an effect. Alex Rodoni, thanks for joining, brother. I appreciate you. I don't think that was a Joey Garessi. He's Oklahoma City, maybe. Was that an Oklahoma City accent? I don't know. I thought it was like a Texas drawl, but I'm sure Joey would enjoy us poking at him a little bit. Speaking of which, like clients like Garessi and you and others, Rodoni, we should do like a monthly Zoom and talk about housing. I wonder if we did it and we even streamed it. That'd be kind of cool. Let me know if you're game. That'd be fun. I'm doing more of that stuff this year, which reminds me, this is what I should do. Did I send it to myself? I'm doing a Tony Robbins peak performance event next Wednesday. You guys are all invited. You're watching this live. You're watching it on the stream. As long as it's before February 15th, you guys are invited. I'm only looking at my phone so I can get this link, send it to my email, put it in here, because this is going to be a fun one. Peak Performance Workshop. Tony Robbins has some trainers that work for him that do a phenomenal job. I talked to the trainer who's going to hold the session for us here in Sacramento in my conference room. I'm going to hold a watch party, but you guys are all invited on Zoom, even if you're in Oklahoma City or Texas or Tennessee, to join. And it's going to be a good time. I promise you that. So let me send this to myself real quick. And then I'm going to get the link up here. Oh, it's going to be a fun one. I'm glad I remembered that. And so I can remember to send that to you guys. I'm going to share something on a video I recorded earlier too in a couple minutes. I'm going to get through some questions. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on what's happening in your specific market. We saw like this crazy influx in January, but some cool charts I saw for 2030 predictions on real estate and what median home prices are going to be across the country in 2030. That's cool stuff. If you're a long-term real estate investor, you're going to like that. So stay tuned. What pre-licensing course would you recommend using to pass the NMLS test, California? Gosh, it's been so long. I know there's other loan originators on here. My buddy Norm's on here. He might know. Allied. Does Allied do? I know. I think Allied. I use them for training for my real estate course, which when I became a broker, I got my real estate license. I did 0 deals in real estate. I let the real estate agent professionals handle the real estate. I did the mortgage, but I had my license because the company that I worked for, we needed that. But I think Allied does it for real estate and for mortgage. I could be wrong. Somebody might help me out in the comments here with NMLS, training course. But what you want to do, in my experience, is go on there and just take a bunch of practice tests, because the weird, crazy questions that they ask are what you have to study. Like if you study what really goes on a mortgage originator's day-to-day, you might fail because the test is full of a bunch of stuff that you're never going to use. So study their practice tests with all the useless information that you got to pass. Rant over on that one. Somebody enjoys my jokes. I appreciate you. My kids, I don't know if my kids like my dad jokes, but thanks, Leia, for joining. And yeah, I think it's more fun when I'm having fun. Like imagine talking about mortgage and it being all serious. Oh, that would not be the jam. Not at all. Norm Bliskowski. How you doing, man? Good to see you in there. One of the baddest lenders out in Idaho doing his thing. I appreciate your support, brother. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. I was getting that link. Man, you talk about a guy who's just sees squirrels, gets distracted. I'm going to put this link here. This is to register for the event. I think I'm also going to put it, I'll put it in the comments after this thing, all these YouTube lives after I'm done going live. They sit on the channel. They live on the channel. But that's a link. Tony Robbins, Peak Performance Workshop, Matt the Mortgage Guy team. I'm going to have team members from across the country on it. I'm going to have realtors and referral partners from across the country on it. Anybody is welcome. If you're trying to get better every day, like I am, first thing you got to do is go to, Spotify and Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the Get Better Every Day with Matt Gouget podcast. That's a good idea. But go to this Tony Robbins thing next week. It's 90 minutes. It's free. And we're going to do a live watch party. So you get to see in live my conference room, my team, us, talking about peak performance in 2023. It's going to be real estate related because the majority of the audience is going to be real estate, but it's going to apply to Everybody. Speaking of getting better, Sacramento Kings, Derek Weaver, thanks. Looking good this season, looked horrendous last night. And I don't want to, hark on them too much, but we can't have games like we had last night at Sacramento. I think we play Houston tonight, and we play Houston again on Wednesday. Let's do better, Sacramento. Our boy De'Aaron Fox is out, but we still should be beating teams like the New Orleans Pelicans without Zion and whatnot. So anyhow, much love from Tampa, Florida. Appreciate you, Chisel Mortgage Group. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know how Tampa, Florida is doing. I know that like parts of Florida went absolutely bonkers in 20 and 21. 22 was cool off season for some of those Idaho, Texas, Florida, Tennessee. I'm doing that. I'm practicing geography. That's what that is. It's exercise and geography. It's exography. Dude, I am full of good jokes today. I don't know what I'm on today. A bunch of coffee, but I'm in the zone, auto zone today. All right, Rodoni's in. Monthly Zoom. Hopefully you're in for the event, the Tony Robbins event. It's going to be a fun one. Create a banner. This is long, and I don't think you can even. I should have created a short form for this, right? There's going to be something in the comments. There's going to be a link to this, and then like follow Matt the Mortgage Guy on talking in third person. Is that bad? Does that make me look bad? Instagram, YouTube. Instagram's Matt the Mortgage Guy for you mortgage, best mortgage company out there. Matt the Mortgage Guy on Facebook, Matt the Mortgage Guy on TikTok, Matt the Mortgage Guy on YouTube. All the places. We're going to promote this. It's going to be fun. Join us, please. Oh man, this is bad, but thanks for sharing this piece of information. You know what's wild? New builds are selling more, and people are finding great deals with new builds. So I think I have more of these questions than normal. The whole lender credit or seller credit when you use our preferred lender gig is such a crazy joke, right? Like this is a good example where you're like, yeah, they added a charge and then they gave it back to me and pretended like it was some credit. Generally speaking, builders, lenders overcharge you and then give you a credit and say, look at this credit, look. And unfortunately, 29% of people go, looky credit, and they just roll with it. 71% of people who buy a new build use an outside lender. They use an outside lender because the outside lender can, generally speaking, get them a better deal. Just make sure, and I know tons of you have always taken me up on this, and I appreciate it. We're willing to do it. If you have an estimate from a builder, send us your scenario. We're buying at 776, 20% down. I've got 800 credit score. Here's a loan estimate from February 6th. And broken down exactly what they're offering, because then I will tell you, listen, they're offering you a $10,000 credit, but if I did the loan and I couldn't get the credit, I could do it for $14,000 cheaper. And so net, we're $4,000 better, right? They're $14,000 more expensive, but they give you a $10K credit. It looks good to some people, but you know and I know that if I'm offering it to you at $40, the person who's offering it to you for $100, but then telling you they're giving you $50 off are still $50, and I'm $40. I'm still $10 cheaper. And so get a loan estimate, send it to team@mtmg.com and say, here's my scenario. Make sure we know your credit score. You know, the details will be in the loan estimate, generally speaking, as far as loan amount, down payment, and those other things. But we don't know if your 800 credit score or 680, that'll make a difference on the pricing. Send it over and then let us know the close date, and we'll do our best to tell you, yeah, you look good, or you're getting taken to the cleaners. And on top of that, you got to work with a shitty builder's lender, which, no offense, and I'm just speaking truths here. I'm not throwing shade. I know sales managers and executive leadership at builders that tell me our in-house lender, poo-poo, and we own the company, right? So there's nothing I can really do about it. Lennar Homes owns Lennar Mortgage, and better or worse, right? If somebody chooses to use our in-house, they're going to get $10,000 credit. But some of these people that I talk to are like, I hope they use an outside lender because it's going to get done faster, cheaper, and better. Anyhow, don't share that. People might get mad at me for saying that. Oh, this is an amazing question, William Bateson. Do you think a high CPI next Tuesday could be catastrophic for rates? So next Tuesday, Valentine's Day, February 14th, the next inflation reading is coming out. Consumer Price Index, CPI, is the fancy term for it. It's basically an inflation reading. We've got 3 good inflation readings in a row, down, down, down. And when inflation is coming down, 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 it's a good thing for mortgage interest rates because mortgage interest rates follow inflation. And as mortgage interest rates follow as CPI or inflation comes down, it has that effect where it signals to the Fed, hey, listen, Fed, we're all good, man. Inflation's coming down. I know you got a target. I know you're targeting 2%. It's headed towards 2%. No need to continue to hike interest rates up because they're probably going to do another rate hike in their March meeting, but we already know that. It's already baked in 25 basis points. If this one comes in low, they're able to do that 25 and then pause. If it comes in really low, maybe they pause this next meeting. Probably not the case based on this crazy jobs day and other things we've seen. But I think, to your point, William, and to answer your question, it could have a big impact on rates one way or another. If it's like another low inflation reading again, then it's like grabbing Jerome Powell by the shoulders and going, listen, bro, we cool. Stop raising interest rates. You had them go up by 4% in a 12-month period. Like that ramp is steep enough. Chill out, bro. But to your point, if the next inflation reading comes in and we've gone down, 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 and then we go pink, we go up, it could be catastrophic for rates. It could. And here's the thing. It's going to come out. That's going to have effect on the markets. Then Jerome Powell and the Fed is going to talk. Even before that next meeting, it's not going to be for 6 weeks, probably 20-something of March. Worst case scenario, William, inflation comes in high. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, we're not done. We got to continue to be hard on inflation. And the best way to do that is to raise interest rates. So we're going to keep the pedal to the metal. The Fed is going to talk about how they might do 50 in March and another 50 or some wild plan like that. That would be catastrophic for rates. That could be a scenario where rates could, we're not that far away from those October levels where rates were in the 7s. Cross my fingers and my toes, knock on wood, all the things. That's not going to happen, but it's a possibility. Eric Cuellar, do you think that now that people are buying and there are more pending sales, more sellers will feel comfortable enough to put their house in the market? 4 of 6 homes we've been eyeing have gone pending. I think they will, but I don't know if for sellers, they're as concerned with selling or how quick they can sell or what they can sell for. Most sellers, in my opinion, are not selling because of the weird dynamic that's created with currently in a 3 1/4. What's it look like when I go buy something new at 6 1/4? So I think rates are going to have effect on demand and supply. Lower rates means more demand in the market. Lower rates also means those same sellers are like, I can't do it. I wanted to move to this other neighborhood, sell this one and buy that one, but going from 3 1/4 to 6 1/4 doesn't pencil for me. They're going to go from 3 1/4 to 5 1/4. They're going to put a big down payment. Their payment's only going to change by $600. Better neighborhood, extra bedroom, near the school they want their kids to go to. those are the dynamics that I think are really going to open up some inventory. And so, you know, the fact of sellers being comfortable, I think a lot of the inventory opens up when not only can they sell for a price they think it's worth, but they can replace it. It's the replacement cost that is really handcuffing would-be sellers, because they're not selling because the replacement or the forward purchase doesn't make sense from a financial or from a numbers perspective. That's my guess, my educated guess. All right. Oh, you already showed us this one, or I already put this one up there. Yeah, where the new builder said, listen, I might be charging you $100 for the $39 sweater, but I'm going to give you $50 rebate. So look at it now. And you're like, all right, cool. Well, it's still $50. Solomon Butt. I don't think that's going to happen, but back up to 3 minutes ago, William Bateson talking about next Tuesday's CPI read. Tuesday, February 15th, latest reading, which is going to be the reading for January for inflation, consumer price index. If it comes in hot, if it comes in high, it's going to have a negative impact on mortgage rates. Mortgage rates will go up. Guarantee it, right? That's just what happens when, you know, like it or not, like what inflation is doing is going to have a big effect on the market. The economy and jobs and all that stuff that we saw last Friday, that has an effect. Inflation has a similar, you know, pretty dramatic effect on mortgage rates, along with, you know, other socioeconomic factors. New builds have to use the preferred lender to get seller credit. Is it smart to lock in the rate as long as possible with preferred lender, just in case rates go up, and revisit personal lender? You can do that, and I'd say it's a pretty good plan. The only thing to be careful for is do not pay any upfront fee to lock. Any long-term stuff, we're not locking. Most people in the mortgage industry don't think that we've got higher interest rates coming. We think that it's going the opposite way. So I think, you know, you could do it as a safeguard, just don't pay for it. Some will say, you know, you're going to charge you 1 point. So on a $500,000 loan, give us $5,000 towards that rate lock. If you do that, then you go with a different lender, you're out that $5,000. So I wouldn't do that. Do construction to permanent loans tend to be at par with owner-occupied purchase rates? Not really. Any of these niche products and something like this, you know, construction to permanent loan, they're going to be higher in interest rate. You know, you're going to pay a premium for a product like that in general is going to be a little bit more risky to the lender. Just like an investment property, you're less likely to foreclose on your personal property than you are in your investment property. So owner-occupied properties are about 1% or 1.5% lower than investment property purchases from a rate standpoint. Same with construction and permanent. You're going to find a higher interest rate just to bake in that risk. What would you guess rates will be by May, June? 5.4723. Final answer. It's complete guess, but final answer. Did I show this chart yet? Before I go, because I got to get out of here in 8 minutes, I want to show you guys this. And the video I just created was stop looking at housing from what's it going to do in the next 6 to 12 months and start looking at what it's going to do in the next decade or two. For most people, if you're flipping houses, I get it. You got to look at the short term. If you're moving in a year or two, maybe you look at the short term. If you're like the vast majority of people, you should probably, and by probably, I mean always, look at real estate as a long-term investment. Invest long like Warren Buffett and don't worry about what next quarter's financials are going to look like. What's this company going to do in the next decade or two? What's real estate going to do in the next decade or two? Greatmortgagebroker.com if you want to connect with me and my team. But check out this, where these are the projected values. This is a city one. I should have started with the state. Here's the states. Projected September 2030 value. This is like a median home price in these states. If you're in other parts of the world, California median home price of over $1 million. Sounds crazy, but you'll see when I show you the city slides that it'll look cheap compared to San Francisco and San Jose. West Virginia, $128. So it's still affordable to live in some parts of the country. But it's interesting to see the stat that I talked about in my video that I just recorded. It'll probably be out tomorrow. Was they did a survey of a bunch of different real estate experts, and what is housing going to do in the next 5 to 7 years? Roughly speaking, the average was 25% appreciation, and the most bullish, meaning the people that are like, I love housing, it's always going to go up, it's sunshine and rainbows, all of it, said like 50% appreciation over the next 5 to 7. The most conservative said 10%, right? Which my point is, if you're buying it, you're holding it long term, and it's a primary that you can afford, or it's an investment property that cash flows, it's going to go up. Whether it's 10 or 50, I'm not going to tell you that I know the exact number, but it's going to appreciate in value. And oh, by the way, there's tax benefits. And oh, by the way, there's debt pay down. And oh, by the way, a lot of good things. Real estate, pretty good investment. So just wanted to show this real quick because I thought it was neat. Check out the video tomorrow if you want to see me kind of walk and talk through it. This one is, states where, the average in Rhode Island is 411,000. The average in Wyoming is 334,000. Again, projected September 2030 values. And then you've got the county specific. San Francisco, $2.6 million average median home price. Crazy town. Sacramento, my neck of the woods, $765,000. Go to Nashville, Tennessee, $540,000. Fresno, California, $460,000. I still can't believe that one's that high. Houston, Texas, $309,000. There's probably some expensive parts. Dallas, Texas, $417,000. Detroit, Michigan, $81,000. Is Detroit making a comeback? I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. What do we got? I'm trying to read this, William, because you got some good insight here. Continued easing with inflation will point towards possibility of a soft landing. Yeah, if plans change, which they'll only change if inflation changes direction. If inflation is continuing to come down, I like our chances of a slow and steady decline of mortgage rates over the next 6 months as inflation goes down. Like always, it's not a straight line, so it's not like it goes like this. It's going to go 6.4, 6.3, 6.12, up to 6.2, then to 6.05, then to 6.1, then to 5.97, then 6.03, then 5.92. Like that's how mortgage rates go. They change every single day. Don't try to time mortgage interest rates. Don't try to time real estate. It's time in the market, not timing the market. I think I got that right. All right. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys. Again, I'll put that link to the Tony Robbins event. I'd love to have you guys join me. It'd be fun. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Adios.